Hi, this is Shane Starr. Welcome to my little kingdom here at work where I have everything exactly the way I like it. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about NE and NI, that is extroverted intuition and introverted intuition, and which one do you use? I am using an article to guide our conversation about this, which is by Ryan and Mara of Practical Typing. I think they have a great website with a lot of useful resources. So once again, we're going on their article, 7 differences between NE and NI users. I'm going to try to kind of use personal examples as well as general observations to sort of process my own feelings about it, as well as help others process their typing. So, to start with, I would want to say that everyone has both. There's no way you can live in the world without using introverted intuition, which is an understanding of time, patterns, where things are going, symbolism, um, the meaning behind the surface level things. I mean, all of us do that. No matter how strong of a sensor you have that. Likewise, NE, we all use comparisons to understand different concepts and ideas and things. I mean, that's basically what storytelling is. Words are a symbol for things. Things can symbolize something more meaningful. Um, we all use extroverted intuition. We all use introverted intuition. So we all do both. But for the purposes of typing, which one do we use more? So let's look at these 7 differences. Number 1, NE shares information while NI gathers information. Okay, right off the bat, I would say, how can you share information if you have not gathered it first? So back to what I was saying, you would have to do both. But I think there's a deeper nuance here, and they talk about extroverted intuition as externalizing their ideas and speculation. This often comes by way of analogies and poetic language, and whereas they're always used, even though they're ideas, they have a concrete aim most of the time. That would be NE, whereas NI, it's more subjective information that's not so easy to put into words. Looked at in this way, knowing that we all gather and share information, if I had to pick a side, I'm probably more sharing. Doing this video with an article I just printed and haven't reviewed beforehand, that's a perfect example of that. Instead of really going deeply into it, I looked it over, made some important observations to share, and then I'm just doing it. So for me, it's NE1, NI0. Next, NE is a broad spectrum of external possibilities, while NI is one internal conclusion. If we extend external possibilities to include the negative ones, then it's 100 to 0 for me, NE. Whenever I think of future possibilities, my mind instantly and has always gone to precisely what's going to go wrong here, what can go wrong. Someone comes to me with, they just met the person of their dreams, and it's like, oh, I've been there, done that, and I can tell them all the reasons why it's not going to work. Someone has a great business idea. Yeah, but have you thought, how are you going to pay taxes, and what's going to happen when you don't get any clients? Yeah, there's no ceiling for earning potential, but there's no floor either. My mind always sees the future as some dark, scary place. I oftentimes don't settle on one conclusion like I would say an NI user would do. I think of multiple potential possibilities, almost all of them bad, unfortunately. Now, I think a lead NE user sees those same possibilities, but in a positive sense. I think if you have low NE, you're going to be more like me. Or if you're an NI user, you might also be like me in that area. But NI users tend to zero in on one idea, one possibility. And they're described in the article as being more stubborn. Now, this is tricky because I'm described by a lot of people as being stubborn, but I'm stubborn on facts, not ideas. Ideas, I'm more flexible, more accepting. When it comes to facts, again, I've said this in other videos, the facts don't care about our feelings. I'm stubborn on the facts. As far as ideas go, though, I can see multiple possibilities. I can, sometimes positive ones, just more often than not negative ones. So we would go, for me, NE2, NI0. Number 3, NE may view NI as narrow-minded, while NI may view NE as lacking focus. I'd have to give myself a point for NI here because no one's ever accused me of lacking focus. It's usually being narrow-minded. But that comes with a disclaimer, is that really a point for NI here, or is that actually SI? Again, I'm stubborn on facts, not so much ideas. But to make it interesting, let's leave the point with NI. So, are you narrow-minded, which is NI, or lacking focus, which is NE? I'd have to be more narrow-minded, so point for NI. 2-1 so far, NE. Okay, next. Number 4, NE knows a little about a lot, while NI knows a lot about little. Well, the problem is once you're old like me, you know a little about a lot, and you know a lot about a little. So that's going to be a hard one. If you're younger, you can ask yourself, do you go more deeply into a few things or broadly into a bunch of things? For me, I hate being guilty of ageism, especially against myself, but I would have to say I'm too old to be typed this way. I'm obviously both. I have to give that a tie. So it's 1-to-1 NE. If you're younger, you'll have a better chance of answering this and having it be able to guide you correctly. Number 5, NE is more impulsive, while NI prefers structure or planning. Now, this is hard. What if you have NE, but you're a J type, or a rational type in socionics? You're going to have NE, but you're going to have it lower, so you're not going to be as impulsive. Whereas you can be an NI user and be an ESTP or ESFP and be very impulsive. So can we really use number 5 to tell which one you have? I don't really think so. I would think that people who prefer structure or planning might be SI leads or SI auxiliaries who have an E nonetheless, but they have it lower, so they're going to be more structured and planned. And like I said, the EP types, especially ESFPs and ESTPs, can have NI but be more spontaneous. We're going to have to leave this one out again. So 2 for NE, 1 for NI, 2 non-decided. Number 6. NE is good at producing words, while NI struggles to verbalize thoughts. Again, what if you're an FI lead who also has I think FI leads have a hard time with words too. But in the context of the question, are you good at producing words, or is it hard for you to verbalize your ideas? I was an English teacher. People in different settings who never met or knew each other, college, my teaching career, my real estate career, they have dubbed me the king of analogies. And no, I'm not an any lead user, but I use analogies all the time. They just come naturally to me. It's just like swearing comes naturally to certain um, elements of the population. Um, I would say this is, if you're witty, you like to use puns, words, analogies, and you have no problem verbalizing those things, or you like little texts with double meanings that can be taken more than one way, um, then you are most likely an NE user. So for me, that's easy NE. So now we're at 3-1 to 2 tied. Number 7, and this is the last one. NE gets distracted and follows rabbit trails, while NI may fail to provide context. I don't think I fall into either of these. I would say if I had to choose one, sometimes the rabbit trail's more fruitful than the main road. So the rabbit trail's not always bad. I don't like going down them. In the context of my life, for me, this whole typology thing is a rabbit trail, trying to work out in a scientific, logical way this structure of personality. It's really difficult. I was studying socionics last night, and I had the information elements, the functions, and comparing and contrasting different types and looking at each function in each of those positions, which one's most likely, which one there might be the case, which ones are definitely out. And I was stuck between ESTJ, which I got all over the place, and ISTP, which would be ISTJ and MBTI. Those functions are close. They're in the same stack normally, but what makes most sense in MBTI doesn't quite pan out the same way in socionics. So back to the point, rabbit trails, I don't like them, but I tend to go down them sometimes. So another point for NE. So for me, it's 4-1 to 2 NE. I think the harder you've had a time of picking one or the other, means the less likely that you are intuitive in general. That's all I got for today. Thanks, I'm out.